In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Legacy Collection Nikto Gunner. Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bosk's Bounty video, and welcome to my review of the Star Wars Legacy Collection Nikto Gunner. This is a figure that I've been after for such a long time. He's going to go very, very nicely with the other Nikto figures that I do have, which I'm going to show you all together a little bit later on in the video. And I do also want to talk about the quality of this figure compared to some of the new ones that we've got in the last year. Now, I do want to thank Jeff from California for gifting me this figure. I do appreciate it. He actually gifted me quite a few figures in a sort of fan mail haul video that I did the other day, and I really, really appreciate it. Obviously, as I say, this is a figure that I've been after for a very long time, and I'm very happy to finally have it in my possession, and I'm going to open it because I do want it to be on my barge. So let's take a look at the packaging quickly. So this was the Legacy Collection packaging, and this blockbuster value sticker is actually in the way of the card image, so we can't actually see the card image of the Nikto Gunner. This guy is also named Nysad or Nysad from Return of the Jedi. There he is there from the film. That's what he looked like in the film. And he comes with this big cannon which connects onto the barge, which is, or the skiff, whichever you want, which is awesome. That cannon there also came with the Vizam figure, which is what I want to talk about, the quality of that one actually. We're going to compare them in a minute. But that's the packaging. Awesome, awesome figure. Very rare on the secondary market in the UK. I'm not really too sure about the US, but this figure is highly sought after in the UK, so I'm very pleased to have it. So let's get it open and we'll check out the figure. And before I do open it, I did want to just say that obviously this was part of the Builder Droid line, BD23, and it comes with the leg of R5C7. So you never know, some of the other figures that I have in the Legacy Collection to open might have some more parts of that droid, which would be awesome. Alright then, so here he is, the Nikto Gunner, out of the packaging, and as you can see, he looks pretty damn cool. I do like the way he's holding that heavy cannon. They had him like that in the packaging, and I think it's pretty cool. But obviously this is designed to sit on the side of the skiff or any other vehicle really, because obviously when this figure came out, the modern skiff that we have now in the vintage collection and the barge weren't around. So obviously these were designed to fit onto other skiffs or whatever that they'd made in the past. But great looking figure. And the thing that strikes me about this one in particular is how screen accurate it is. He looks just like he does in the movie. I think they've captured him really, really well. Now, just to talk about the cannon here and the quality of the cannon, I did just want to have a look at it and compare it to the one that we got with Vizam. So if we just look at this now, this is really heavily detailed in terms of the wash that they've got on it. It's got a lovely sort of gunmetal grey to it, and that silver highlights on it, and it just looks a bit worn, and it looks like a cannon should be. Whereas if we look at the one that's recently come with the Vizam figure, it's bright silver. I mean, it does have a little bit of a wash on it. I don't know if you can see in the packaging there, but if we compare it to that one, I mean, this is the sort of thing that you would get with the barge. This would match very much like the cannons that you got included with the barge, whereas the one with Vizam is a bit out of place really, because it's too silver, it's too bright. But that's by the by. I just wanted to point that out in terms of the quality of these Legacy Collection figures from back in the day. Let's get the Nikto Gunner back in view. Just going to put his blaster back in his holster quickly, and then we'll have a look at that in a second. But there you go, great head sculpt on it. The headdress does suffer the same issues as the other Nikto figures, in that it is a little bit loose. It just sits on his head like that. So if you're not too careful, it does tend to fall off, but for a display point of view, it sits there quite nicely. As I mentioned, if we just put them up together with the other Nikto figures that I have, so this is obviously Nikto. His headdress comes off quite easily. We have the Verdane figure, and his one's probably the best out of the lot. That sits really tightly on his head. And then of course we have Vizam as well. So I just wanted to show you all 4 of them together. I'm so glad to have the Nikto gunner finally in my possession to go with these other 3. And you can really see the difference in the face sculpt and the paint differences that they've used. So Nikto is very dark, and this one's sort of like in between the 2. He's like a more of a muddy brown, and these 2 here have very different skin tones as well. So it's just the paint that they've used, but essentially they're all the same species. And yeah, they look pretty cool all together, don't they? So I'm just going to take his headdress off now so we can look at the articulation of the figure. So obviously this was part of the Legacy collection, and back in 2009 I think it was, they obviously had great articulation back then. Any of these figures, or most of the figures that came out in the Legacy collection, are worthy of the Vintage collection, and this one's no different. So his head is articulated, as you can see there. It was a bit stiff straight out the packet. So that's on a little ball joint there. So you've got plenty of movement there. He has ball jointed shoulders, elbows. Let's see if he has a hinge on his wrist. I think he's only got swivel wrists. But he's got waist movement. And of course he's got knee joints, swivel hips, and he has ankle, hinge and swivel. But just look at the detail on him. The wash that they've got, he's all dirtied up. All those green belts and everything going around his costume, with his sidearm in his holster there. And if we just take a quick look at that blaster, very tiny little blaster there, very similar. It's called the Palace blaster, essentially. That's what I've always called it. Very similar to one that Luke has on the Vintage figure from back in the day. All of the Niktos seem to come with those Palace blasters, I call them. But look at that, great figure. Amazing to have in my collection. And yeah, I'm just going to cut away. I'm going to take some photos of him on the barge so you can see exactly how I'm going to have him displayed. But let me know what you think of this figure in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching as usual. And of course, we'll see you on the next one.